Hello, and welcome to My Left Ear. I am Carrie Freeman, and this is my co-host, Petey Freeman. He changes positions all during the show. And this is a liberal YouTube channel. You should know that if you haven't been here before. We are devoted, all of us, to getting Kamala Harris and Tim Walz elected president and vice president. My left ear is because I get a lot of information through my left ear. And this is video 218, and it's August 14th, Tuesday. Okay, here we go. A little bit of housekeeping and one announcement. I always forget to do, not always, but much of the time, to ask anybody new to please like and subscribe, trying to grow this thing. And also to remind everybody, I do private sessions, private coaching for an hour, and then 90 minutes of hypnotherapy that gets into some deep material. And you get a recording, a personal recording that I do for you based on all your issues. Very helpful. And all that information is below. Now, I want to make the announcement. I completed a 10-minute mindful meditation recording for you. I'm going to make these available for $20. They are 10 minutes long. And so anybody who signs up for one is going to get the recording through the email. And then I have put together a 2-page cheat sheet, which is an introduction to the audio. And so you'll get one email that has this introduction that I wrote about mindful meditation and why I'm doing this. And then the actual recording, which ends up you get through email and you can listen to. And to keep it permanently, you have to download it or put it on your telephone. Otherwise it goes away after 2 weeks. I'm going to put the instructions on my community page. So if you would want to order the recording and the cheat sheet, I would need you could pay through PayPal, or you can mail me the money directly if you want to. I'll put my address down in the community section. So I would need your email. I cannot get this recording to anybody without their email. And I did it just really not to, take up a lot of time. I did it because, and this is on my cheat sheet, that a lot of people are intimidated by mindful meditation because they feel they can't sit down for 20 minutes. And I totally understand that. But I've been doing it myself for 10 minutes and the benefits are there. You do not have to do this twice a day for 20 minutes. Now, a lot of sort of professional teachers will want you to do that, but I'm here to tell you the benefits are there for 10 minutes. And almost everybody can sit down for 10 minutes. So to make it easy and not intimidating, I recorded this. And I think you might like it. Very calming, very centering. And the cheat sheet also includes the benefits of mindful meditation. So for $20, I think this is a deal, everybody. Look in the community section. I haven't written it in there yet, but I will this afternoon. All right, here we go. My left ear, and Petey's bathing himself. We have 83 days to the election. I always like to give people that information. And Monday, the 19th, starts the Democratic Convention in Chicago, my hometown. Very excited about that. The speakers are off the charts. Now, as of today, Beyonce is going to speak at this. Don't know about Taylor Swift yet, but I bet she comes up with something. Not sure, but got a hunch. Anyway, and then just keep on holding that joyful feeling of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, because they are joyful warriors. And it's easy now because they've lifted us up. All right, look in the community section. Donald Trump announced an emergency, quote, emergency presser at Bedminster, his club Bedminster, and he's claiming that Google, because he's really going off the deep end now. His frontal temporal dementia is really showing up. He's mixing up what's happened in the past and the present, and he's if it's possible, he's lying more than ever. But now he's going to talk about, because he's panicked, he sees the enormous crowds that Kamala and Tim are getting, and they don't seem to be going away, these crowds, these joyful crowds. Oh, Pete, I might have to pull him over so you can see him. All you can see is his tail right now. In fact, let me do that. Let me sort of relocate him for a second. Okay, Pete, people want to look at you, sweetheart. There you go. Can we just get you there at least? It's not perfect, but there he is. There he is, PD. Okay, so I did some runes. Want to share some runes with you. There's a lot of, on Twitter, there are a lot of complaints about Merrick Garland. And people are really, I would say people, like a lot of people, really want to see him resign or get fired. So I thought I'd ask the runes. Will Merrick Garland get fired or resign and leave as the AG? I also want him to leave. I don't think he's been passionate enough, aggressive enough. He seems to me to be sort of meek and hesitant. And at the end of the day, he's a member of the Federalist Society. And people think also that he's not going to go after members of Congress and the Senate who are guilty of the insurrection. I think that's coming. As long as Jack Smith is around, I think that's coming, but it's not the priority, unfortunately. All right, so I got the rune opening, and it's the rune of renewed clarity. And I'm going to inject my left ear notes. So now I say perhaps either Kamala's clarity or Garland's clarity that he must resign. But as such, dispelling any darkness. And the darkness is his non-action, which has created a lot of anxiety that may be shrouding his life because of his lack of passion for implementing justice. Now, of course, he would argue with me on that, but that's what it looks like, okay? The message here for him is make sure, Merrick, that nothing is left hidden or in dark corners. You know, he is a member of the Federalist Society, so we don't know. There's stuff we don't know. I don't think he's crooked. I want you to know that. But I don't think is Pete going away? Please don't go away, Pete. He's looking for comfort. Now you can see him. Hey, Pete. Yeah, talking to you. I'm talking to you. So I do want to say that. I don't think he's crooked at all. But I don't think he was ever meant for this AG position. He's really meant to be like a judge for the most part. So this rune of opening requires seriousness, clear intent, and concentration that are essential at the beginning of any new endeavor. And in any new endeavor, I wrote possibly his departure is a new endeavor. It says the more light you have, meaning the more light he has, the better you can decide what is trivial and outmoded. But that could be also Kamala deciding what is trivial and outmoded. So it goes on here. Then Merrick got the rune of gateway in the reversed position. So I kind of gave you the high points here. That it says in times of acceleration and the election and this change and tumult is acceleration. You will have reason to halt and reconsider the old. It's about integrating the new. And I wrote his departure integrating his departure. And Kamala is reconsidering. You know, she's methodical and she's pragmatic. And I mean that in a really good way. So she's either made the decision or she's really putting under deep consideration. She hasn't been elected yet. She will get elected. So it says, if you are undergoing difficulties, the nature of your passage depends on the quality of your attitude, Mr. Garland. Will he be willing to step aside? Well, he's going to have to. And as someone educated wrote me here, that it is customary for these key players to give a letter of resignation when the new charge comes in and takes over. And then that makes it easier for, let's say, Kamala to accept the resignation. So it may not be like a firing, she just might accept his resignation. So this which was shared with me. If you are undergoing difficulties, the nature of your passage depends on the quality of your attitude, the clarity of his intention, and hasty decisions may cause regrets. Impulses must be tempered. And it says not to go where you have not yet begun. It advises him, be still, collect yourself, and wait on the will of heaven. I don't know, and this just came through my left ear just now while I was reading this. I don't know that he's really enjoying the job either. Whereas I feel like Jack Smith is into it and passionate and wants to accomplish certain things. And we just don't get that, or I don't get that, from Merrick Garland. So now we got the rune of Signals. And Signals is the messenger rune. And when this rune is cast, whether right side up or upside down, it says, be prepared for messages of great import that bring change, okay? Signs, signals, messages, and omens are all things you need to be extra aware of. And as we watch, that's for us too, be extra aware. Be open and receptive to the flow of the universe and what is. So this rune is closely associated with the Norse god Loki. Loki is the breath of change and unexpectedness. That's why I'm mentioning Loki. Signals reaches into our comfortable lives and shakes everything up. Well, that kind of sounds like a departure to me, right? These are the signals I'm looking for when I'm reading these runes. So Signals, the rune, can represent the cleansing aspects of change. I really don't love to wear these glasses. I'm just always afraid I can't read without them. It's about acceptance and receptive behaviors. It looks like change is upon him and moves him forward on his path. And I think basically he's a gentleman, but he's so mismatched. There's so many other people that should be AG and do it with a passion and an intention and no fear. But there's something just meek about him, and he's not a great communicator. I remember an interview with him a while ago where he just kept saying in the interview, nobody is above the law. And it was like, can you talk a little bit more rather than just repeating that over and over? And frankly, it seems that some people are above the law. It's not right. Clarence Thomas, Alito, Donald Trump, all seem to be above the law and nobody's doing anything about it. And it says also the signals come into areas of our lives and beliefs and may not be appropriate for us anymore. and here I wrote what I've just been telling you, he was never right for the AG position. Change is an essential part of this process, and the rune guarantees that change is on its way. So a lot of people that like really hate him, and there are people on Twitter that hate Merrick Garland. I don't hate him. I just wish he'd go and we'd get someone much better. And signals, the rune signals, speaks of both endings and beginnings. So if someone leaves, they're going to begin someplace else, even if he chooses to begin a retirement. All right, now we're going to move on to a question that's on a lot of people's minds. Will Trump drop out of the election? And he is mentally, his brain is getting worse. I don't know if you know this, but when he went to Bozeman, Montana, I think as it was last week, he had a brain freeze in front of a group of people. He just stopped and he did not speak for 21 seconds. He just stopped and looked blank. It was disturbing. It was creepy. All right, so I got Journey to start out with. And Journey is concerned with communication, with the attunement of something that has two sides, two elements, and with the ultimate union that comes at the end of a journey. So there's hidden, messages in here, and that's what I'm always looking for, and I bold it. It does speak to us of the ending of a journey. I'm repeating that. So right now, you are not intended to rely entirely on your own power, and his power is slipping. Right now, you are to address and ask your witness self, and the teacher within, well, he's not insightful. He won't do that. I think I didn't edit this particular paragraph. It says the journey is ultimately towards self-healing. That would be true of anybody normal, but Donald Trump is not normal. And I'm going to go on here. And of course, it blew up on me. God, I hate this about these Macintoshes. Journey also carries within it the rune of joy. For now, the end of this journey is in sight. So they're assuming that the end of this journey is like a good thing, but for Trump, it's good for us. I mean, it's so good for us. So that's Carrie's interpretation. That's my left ear's interpretation. Harvest, he got harvest, which normally is really, really good. It's the rune of beneficial outcomes, but in this reading, it's our beneficial outcome, not Donald Trump's beneficial outcome. And it applies to any endeavor you are committed, and we're committed to getting rid of him. It's the rune of hope. It's the rune of continuous movement. There's a lot of moving parts right now. And it reminds me to be positive about these departures. It's like new momentum for peace and harmony. It signifies a period of waiting. So we're waiting to see, is he going to finish this run? Or is he going to power through it? Or will his health interfere where he simply can't put two sentences together and is utterly, utterly confused? It has to do with right timing. And let me just see if there's anything else here. Now, here, the last paragraph for harvest, I think, is the most important one to share with you. It says, harvest says that if a person sows no seeds, does no work, plants no goals and desire in his or her thoughts, harvest will bring about situations which reflect lack. And he has been sowing no seeds except bad seeds, doesn't work, doesn't have goals except to destroy, and it's reflecting in lack. And if he got reelected, we would be experiencing a lot of lack. Now, the last rune is the punchline Okay, it's the biggie. He got stand still. And if you've been watching me for a while, stand still is never good. And it says, the winter of your spiritual life is upon you. You may find yourself entangled in a situation to whose implications you are in effect blind. And he's in denial all the time, making up stories. You may feel powerless to do anything except submit, surrender, and even sacrifice some long cherished desire. Now I'm going to stop right here and talk about the biggest thing for Donald Trump, and I know you've heard this, because you read and you watch a lot of people, is that he can't be wrong and he can't be humiliated. So if he drops out, which he really may, there's going to be probably a doctor involved telling a story that he's unable, he can't. He won't just do this like running away, I quit. He's going to need a good excuse because he doesn't want to humiliate himself. It tells us you may feel powerless to do anything except surrender and even sacrifice some long cherished desire. So there you go. Positive accomplishment is unlikely right now. I'm going to move Petey again. Come on, Pete. You're hiding from everybody. They don't like that. They want to see you. There's a freeze, Donald, on useful activity, and your plans are on hold, Don. You may have to submit. You may have to submit, buddy. Don't depend on others right now, because when you get standstill, that rune, it's cold. It's the winter of your discontent. I think that was Shakespeare. So with its association with ice and winter, standstill tells Donald J. Trump to prepare, which is ominous, okay? I think I can't say like, sometimes I'm just so sure. I think it's really likely that he'll drop out. I do. We'll see, and I may, we've got a few months here. I'll check with the runes again, but I know it's been on everybody's mind, so I wanted to share this. Then I have a little information on J.D. Vance, because people are wondering, is he going to get replaced? Is he going to get replaced? Well, I did a little diving, and according to Newsweek, Donald Trump is just about out of time to replace Senator J.D. Vance as his running mate, a legal analyst has said. And that legal analyst is Joyce Vance. Love Joyce Vance. She raises chickens. She's MSNBC's legal, was reacting to speculation that Trump may drop the Ohio senator because his controversial comments. Now these photos have come out with him in drag when he was in college. They're really embarrassing and tacky, because his controversial comments are not playing well with swing voters. So on July 31st, Trump dismissed suggestions that J.D. Vance was a bad choice because he can't admit that he made a mistake. And he chose him because he got a lot of money, and both his sons are friends with J.D. Vance and really convinced him, and he's probably not even speaking to his sons right now. He listened to them. And let me see, Choice telling the National Association of Black Journalists that vice presidential picks have virtually no impact on the election. That, I think, is too strong a statement. But if you look at Tim Walz, how he completes a fabulous package and almost like, business marriage with Kamala Harris, it's not entirely true, because he's very appealing as a vice president, and one could see him, at least I feel this way, you can disagree with me, as presidential. Very confident man. So there is this one rune, I'll just share it with you about JD, because I didn't want to waste a lot of time on him. This is the gateway rune. Gateway speaks of standing in the gateway, ready to take a step, but gateway indicates that there is work to be done. JD, both inside and out. And I think he's got a lot of secrets on the inside, okay? It even represents the frontier between heaven and the mundane. JD is the mundane. He's so boring. The gateway is not to be approached and passed through without contemplation. Deep transformational forces are at work here. It's about power of passage from one form into another. I think he's going to go back to the Senate, but I think the Senate is going to be is going to remain Democratic, and maybe even add one or two into the Senate. It's dicey, but that's what my left ear thinks. Now I've got really cool, good evidence, and it's about Ukraine. And I took this from newspaper or a magazine, I can't remember. Ukraine continues to advance deeper into Russian territory. The first invasion of Russian territory since World War II. It enters its second week right now. And so far, the Ukrainians have taken more territory than Russians have taken in all of 2024. Isn't that amazing, my friends? And they are using, these Ukrainian army are using US weapons in the Russian occupied region of Crimea. Russia says it's fighting raids by Ukrainian forces for a second day in the Kursk region. I don't know where these regions are, but that's in Russia. It appears to be one of the largest incursions into Russian territory in this war. The Ukrainian government has not claimed responsibility or acknowledged the attacks, but Ukraine has been trying to intensify its fight against Russia in occupied Crimea in achieving some success. So this is really uplifting. I want this war, I want Ukraine to just be left alone and let them rebuild. It's been so tragic, so horrible. I hope it's this year, and I might do a rune on it. It's so heavy. Then there's a quote, and I looked in my last 5 shows to make sure I'm not repeating this quote, but it's good anyway, but I didn't find it in my last 5 shows. It's written by John Steinbeck, and it's from his novel East of Eden, which had been a movie too. So this is a little paragraph rather than like a 1-page quote. And it feels like it was written for Kamala Harris right now. That's why I'm reading it. That's what, you'll see what I mean at the end. Okay, so the paragraph written by Steinbeck is, a kind of light spread out from her, and everything changed color, and the world opened out, and a day was good to awaken to, and there were no limits to anything, and I'm getting chills, and the people of the world were good and handsome, and I was not afraid anymore. I tell you guys, this brings me to tears. It's so perfect, it's so beautiful, and it really could have been written about the effect that Kamala Harris and her joyful warrior and just her joy has affected us. So yeah, I've never gotten weepy on this channel. This really, I think reading it just really brought it up. I'm not embarrassed, I'm just sharing with you that it's a thing of beauty and it touches me. So that's our little show today. I am going to write on my community section later this evening. So everything will be there by tomorrow if you want to order one of these meditation tapes and the cheat sheet. So many benefits to meditation, and 10 minutes is nothing out of your day. So I hope you'll consider jumping into this. I've been working on it for days. So you'll get that later on. And then you'll ask me any questions that you might have. Like if you don't understand something, you'll just put it in that section because I read all your notes, or just send me an email. But look for it later on because I have to run out right now and do some other things. Today is packed with like 8 things that have to get handled. And so I'm on a roll. But tonight you'll get the information. That's all I can think of right now. I think Merrick Garland is going to go. I really, really do. People are taking bets on who might replace him. I thought Trish James from New York would be like wildly, but a friend of mine thinks that she's just perfect for New York and she won't want to leave. But she's that fearless black woman that he doesn't like. But there's quite a few people that could do so much better than Merrick Garland. We will see. Make peace, make good memories, and thank you. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.